Kevin, welcome to the Expert Circle podcast. Happy to have you on here.
Good to be here.
Yeah, look forward to diving into your biz with Nougat Sports Surface out of the Chattanooga, Tennessee area. So, yeah, a little bit different. We have some conversations with some landscapers that end up doing some like hardscaping, a lot of them. Um, but you are in a specific niche where you're doing kind of sport courts, throwing down asphalt, concrete. Um, yeah, so look forward to learn more about that. Yeah, tell me in general kind of how you got into that niche and exactly what you guys do.
Honestly, so I'm 51. I got back into this back in 95. Uh, just luck of the draw, got into a business that was part of their thing was doing tennis courts and stuff. And unfortunate for them, they went out of business. And, I've just kept doing the tennis court and the pickleball court stuff, the sports, uh, you know, doing the sports court, and that's kind of how I got into it. Just luck of the draw, and it kind of gets in your blood, and you can't get rid of it.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So I imagine that, target demographic, that client has a little bit of money maybe, and it's probably not a terrible client to work with.
Well, with tennis courts, your tennis courts are so high end and so much area. So yeah, when you get into the tennis courts, paving a tennis court in somebody's backyard or something, yeah, they generally have a pretty good bit of money. Your pickleball people, it's such a
Yep.
small area. Your common person can afford a pickleball court in their backyard.
Hmm. So, what percentage of projects are you throwing down the concrete versus just coming in and painting over what they got? And
It's
how does that work?
probably it's probably 70-30. 70% is just redoing what is already been there. 30% of it is building. And we
Yep.
do,
Super
we can
interesting.
do
And you guys just
grading.
use kind of regular,
Do what?
do you do like regular paint or kind of stuff that's like really durable, like that kind
No,
of paint you put on your like tire rims, spray that
yeah,
stuff on the thing?
yeah, no, it's a specific type of acrylic latex paint we use. It's designed for pickleball, tennis court. That's all it is designed for. It is, it's a high quality. It's not your run of the mill Sherman Williams paint.
And it's acrylic, it's not oil based.
No, it's an acrylic latex. Yeah,
That's nice that you can get an acrylic that's that durable.
yeah, yeah, and it stays down. Depending on the wear and tear. Like on a concrete pickleball, it'll last 5-6 years for regular play. Now, if you're playing tournaments on it, 3 times a week, of course, it's going to wear out, uh, a little quicker. But for your average person that plays,
Yep.
just a couple times a week or whatever, it's going to last, 6-7 years before you have to redo it.
Yeah, very interesting. I used to play volleyball professionally, so I know a lot of kind of basketball guys, volleyball guys are using the sport court surface. Do you guys ever work with that product where you have
The
the
sport court,
interlocking,
the plastic
plastic
grates,
kind of tile on them?
no, no. Here in the East, that's really not. Like I said, out west and stuff, that's pretty popular. Here, we don't like it. Uh, that's all I'm
No.
gonna say about that.
What's wrong? What's wrong with us crazy West Coast people out here
It's
using sport
just
court?
no, it's not. It's not that. It's just more popular out there. Here, it's not that popular. I mean, you still have to go through the same process. You still have to level up your low spots. You still have to do everything. And what generally happens here is the earth moves. Everybody knows the earth moves a lot. Stuff sinks and stuff like that. So what happens is you get dead spots in that. So that's why it's not used
Mm,
here a whole lot. Just because there's once it's been there a couple of years and everything settles and all that, you just get a lot of dead spots up and under it, and it's
yep.
just it's not. I mean, I
Yep.
don't want to
So you
say
guys
anything
probably have a lot
bad.
of
It's not the
equipment. You guys
product.
have to get in there and yep. So you guys have to use the big kind of rollers, so those big machines to compact it,
Well, we
right?
use those,
The
yeah, on the
dirt before
base.
you pour.
Yeah. No, we use that on the base and the rock and
Yep.
stuff. We'll use the rollers and all that on the base and the sub base and then the rock base. And once you concrete it, but still stuff is set, stuff still settles. And once it settles and moves around a little bit, that's when you
Yeah.
get your dead spots up and under it. If that makes sense.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
that's
Yep.
why
Do you rent out tractors and stuff when you have to do the grading?
no, we got
Do
all that
you
equipment.
subcontract that grading? You guys do that?
No, for the most part, we go out and do it all ourselves. You know, we do the subgrade, we do the rock. We'll do the concrete. Now, I mean, I sub my concrete out, but it's to a guy that been doing my concrete for 5 years. Uh, so I mean, I do sub the concrete out, but it's to a guy that I've known, like I said, for 5 years plus, and he does really good
Yep.
work.
Yep.
So. Now they do have a cushion system called Cushion X. Acrotech Sports makes that. Give them a little plug or whatever, but it's a cushion. It's a cushion style system, so it's easier on the joints. The older people really like it, because it's good on their joints and stuff like that. And then we go and glue it down. You still got to do the same process. Still got to do the sub base. Still got to do the rock. Still got to do the concrete. But then we go in and glue down a rubber surface and then paint on over top of that.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's super cool. So that's like a 2-inch edition, or what is that?
No, it's only the rubber is only maybe a quarter inch, if that. They have different thicknesses. It goes from 4 millimeter all the way up to 8 millimeter. So it's not very thick,
Yep.
but it's got a lot of spring to it because you don't want it to have so much spring that your ball won't bounce, of course. So it's still got to have some stiffness to it.
Yep.
And it's you know,
Yep.
opinion based. I like it, in my opinion. It works good. It stays down good. That's the main thing. You don't want to put something down, glue something down, then in 6 months or a year you're having to go back. And knock on wood, that stuff
Yep.
stays down pretty good once it goes down if you do it right.
Yep. Kevin, can we talk about your pickleball game? What kind of skills you got on the court?
Absolutely none. None. I played it twice my whole life.
None. Oh,
I've never played tennis.
Pickleball is like awesome.
Yeah.
Pickleball is really.
Hey, it's crazy.
We won't tell anybody. We won't.
Yeah, no, I get that question a lot. How good of a pickleball player am I? How good of a tennis court player am I? And I'm not either one of them. I had a customer here the other day.
I'm not, spring chicken anymore.
No, I had a customer the other day talk about they wanted somebody to put their court down that had, experience in playing. And I'm like, well, I'm not the guy for you. But then I still, I'm like, look, just because I don't play doesn't mean I don't know how to do a surface. So, when I've got 20, 25 years experience putting that down. So I know how to do it. I just don't know how to play.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really popular, out here in California. I just got back from Bali. Around the world, it's really popular. So, yeah, I think it's really interesting business model. You got, a really niche down service, and then obviously something that's, really growing fast. How many new pickleball courts versus tennis courts are you putting in? Is pickleball kind of a bigger share of that now? Is it a growing share? What's the
it's probably
percentage split?
It's probably, well, right now it kind of comes in waves. Right now we're doing a pretty good bit of tennis courts right now. but last year we probably did 3-1 pickleball court to tennis courts.
Got it. Um, and then for this business, is it something like decks where you have to come back and, redo the decks? How often do people resurface their courts?
Yeah, about every, pickleball courts, about every 5 to 7 years. Tennis courts, about every 7 to 10 years. Uh, because pickleball
Yep,
right now is getting more play on it than tennis court. So the more play you have on it, the more, you have to resurface them.
that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, you probably don't know any different because you haven't, compared to someone that's just doing, hardscaping and driveways somewhere. But any advice to, another landscaper that's watching, that's, lives in California or Texas or who knows where, and in terms of kind of niching down and any advice for those types of guys?
I mean, really, it's just like any other business. If you do good work, you're going to keep getting work. If you do, subpar work, you're not going to get any. You got to, and it's really hard because in landscaping and all that, you're like, especially when you're bidding against other companies, that these companies take low bid, so you don't have a whole lot of profit in. So you got to get in, get a good quality job, and get out so you can make some money to live on. I mean, that's the thing when you got to figure out how to do a good quality job at a pace that it works for both the consumer and you, if that makes sense.
Yep. 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 And you obviously, you've been in this space for a hot minute, and you're getting most of your business just from referrals, or people are finding you online, or where do you get most of your business?
Mostly word of mouth. I don't do a whole lot of, well, I don't do any, really getting my name out there. I work for a couple different contractors, and that helps. So a lot of times they'll build the courts and they'll call me and say, "Hey, we've got courts here to color, and we'll go color them." Uh, because we are that little niche that not a whole lot of people do. Uh, a lot of people are coming into the
Yep.
business right now, and I don't know that that's a good thing. I mean, because you have, just like in landscaping, in springtime, you have all these people that think, "Oh, I'm going to go out here and make a ton of money," and then it starts to get hot in July and August, and all those people are going, "Wait a second." So I don't know if all the people coming in right now is a good thing or not, because normally the quality goes down, and then people second thought, well, do I want to put something in my backyard? So on that aspect of it, you know, yeah, you always got to have people to do it, but you got to, as far as the consumer, you've really got to do your checks and balances, or you're going to find somebody get tricked into that's only done, a couple courts, but they were low bid, or
Yep.
you like their number. It's just like everything else. You can't get normally you're not going to get a good job done at a real cheap price. It's just not going to happen.
Yep. So maybe for a while there, it was less competition. Maybe the trendiness of pickleball has led to some people jumping on that trend as business owners as well.
Exactly.
Yep. So it's
Exactly.
probably more important for you now to make sure that your marketing is really good, right? So that when people are, shopping around, that you stand out, right? I imagine.
Yeah, and that's something I've got to get better at, because I don't do any marketing. I guess
Yep.
I'm 50 something years old. I think that I think I was a little old when all that stuff came around. So I don't
Yep.
really do a whole lot of marketing, especially computer and all that stuff. I'm not that savvy.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Usually the guys that are doing the work, That's what they're
Yeah,
really good at. They're good at doing the work, and who likes doing marketing or accounting or any kind of this stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
And luckily, I mean, I'm a family owned operation. It's me, my wife, a couple of my boys, and one or two workers. That's
Yep.
really it's mainly family, owned, and uh, so that sometimes means something to some people, and sometimes it don't. You never know.
Yep. Yep. Um, Very interesting. Um, so, what are the biggest challenges you face as a business owner, kind of growing up to this point, and kind of what are the next challenges on the horizon that you're trying to tackle?
The biggest challenge for me is, and there's probably a fancy word for it, but you have to manage your money really well because you front a lot of this, the color, the labor, you front all that because I'm one of the select few. Like a lot of people ask for a deposit up front. I don't do that. I've never run my business that way, and everybody told me how dumb I am for running my business that way. But to me, it comes down to trust. Uh, and I know here in Chattanooga, a few years ago, there was a lot of people coming in and saying, and they still do it today. I'm sure they do it out there in California or wherever you're at out west. Is, hey, give me a big chunk of deposit, and then you never see them again. So
Sure.
that's not. I don't want. I don't want to have to. I guess I want to make sure I have everything up front. I can go out here and do the work, and
Yep.
then all I say is, hey, pay me in a reasonable amount of time. Uh, to, but that's the hard part of it is,
Yep.
sometimes people don't pay, very quick. Sometimes they take 30, 45 days. And what that is challenging for me because it's, it puts a, kind of like money just gets tight sometimes.
Cash flow. Yeah. Cash flow. Um, huh. So maybe even like stages, maybe well, 3 or 4 payments over different stages of the
Well, normally we're in
beginning,
and out
mid.
within a day. Yeah, we're normally in and out in less than a week. I mean, we go in, a small pickleball court you can do in a day. So I mean, there's not really a whole lot of stages. Now, if I'm building one, yeah, I'll say, okay, after I get to subgrade, I'll get this much. After I do the rock, I do that much. But for the resurfacing, we're in and out so quick. There's really not a
Yep.
whole lot of time for that. And
Yep.
everybody,
Yep.
and I've been lucky. I mean, I really have. Uh, I've got good customers, and it kind of goes with the people that can afford a tennis court and a pickleball court. Like I said, normally have the money to pay for it. Uh, so I haven't, I've been stuck once or twice, but nothing real detrimental.
Yep.
Uh, so
Yep.
but good customers, picking good customers, having good customers come to you, that helps out a lot.
Yep. Yep. And so cash flow, continuing to make sure you have enough cushion to, handle that up front. Any other kind of challenges, maybe cash flow, marketing stuff, maybe any other things that you're looking at in the future of Nougat
Marketing,
Sports
yes.
Surface
I
here
mean,
to grow?
because like I said, I don't do a whole lot of marketing. I need to do more. I need to learn how to do more because I like doing stuff in house myself. Just number one, it saves money, and number two, I'm not okay. I'm going to pay you to market for me, but if you don't know the job,
Okay. We lost Kevin here. Let's see if he picks back up. Okay, actually, it was a pretty cool conversation with Kevin. So, gonna chop it there because my editing skills are probably not good enough to re-record this and splice it together. So, I think maybe phone battery ran out of battery. Kevin's running and gunning. So, yeah, pretty interesting conversation. Getting into niches. I think that's something to take a look at. And probably less competition in those niches than just doing driveways and other things, and a good clientele there. So it was really cool to have this conversation with Kevin. And Nougat Sports Surface, if you're in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area, check them out. They're on Facebook for Nooga lawn and landscaping as well. And yeah, happy to have Kevin on here.